I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video we'll try to understand how to write equation for a trigonometric function from the given data. Question here is, state the period, amplitude and equation of axis of the trigonometric function that produces the following table of values. Then use this information to write the equation of the function. So we are given 5 key points here. At x values of 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi and 8 pi, corresponding y values are 2, minus 2, 2, 6 and 2. What we need to find here from this data is period, amplitude, axis and equation of the trigonometric function, right? So let's list what we need to find. So first thing we need to find is the period. And then we will work out on amplitude. You can pause the video and answer the question meanwhile, right? And then look into my suggestion. And then we have to find axis. And lastly, we need to find the equation. Now, to find the period from the data, what we need to do is we need to look for maximum and minimum values. So from this data, 2, minus 2, 2, 6 and 2, we have minimum value here, right? So this is the minimum. So we can write minimum here. And that is the maximum, right? So this is the maximum value. Maximum and minimum values, the difference between these two x values is half the time period. Difference between two minimum or two maximum is 1 period. But in this case, we are given only one maximum and one minimum. So we can use these two values and find time period. So we can say time period t is equals to 2 times maximum x value minus minimum. This maximum minimum are the x values, not the y values, okay, where it happens. So in this case, it is going to be 2 times maximum is 6 pi minus 2 pi, which is 4 pi times 2 is 8 pi. So the time period is 8 pi for us. Now let us see how to find the amplitude. Amplitude, we need to see the maximum and minimum y values. And amplitude is maximum minus minimum. Right? These are the y values, not the x values. Okay, these are the y maximum values and y minimum values divided by 2. So now we are looking into these values, right? So the y values for maximum and minimum is 6 and minus 2. So we have 6 minus 2 divided by 2. That is 8 divided by 2 is 4. So the amplitude is 4 in this case, right? Now let's see the axis. For the axis, we have to add the maximum and minimum values, the y maximum minimum values, okay? That is average. Axis is at the average value. So 6 plus minus 2 divided by 2. That is 4 divided by 2 is 2 for us. So we get the axis. Now after finding all these things, we need to find equation. Now in general, we'll try to write equation in the form of sine or cosine function, but let us sketch and see how this function really looks like. So here we are starting with 2, going down to minus 2, coming back to 2, maximum 2, and then back to maximum 6, and then back to 2. So basically the function is moving like this. So we're going like this and then up and down, right? So that is how the values are given to us, right? So what we are given here is, if I draw my axis like this, we are given this value of 2, right? And then this value, it goes down to minus 2, comes to the maximum of 6. And the time period for all this is, and what we calculate, what axis is 2, right? So somewhere here we will have our x-axis kind of, right? And that is the y-axis. Let me just draw like this. So what we are given here is, this point is 0, and this point for us is 2 pi, and then we have 2, this is 2, right? So this 2 is at 4 pi, and the maximum value of 6 is at 6 pi, and it ends at 8 pi, right? So that is what is given to us. This is not this. Yeah, so the 2 is given at 4 pi, and the minimum minus 2 is 2 pi. That is right. So that is how the values are given to us. As you can see, it is negative of sine wave. So when we write equation, it is better to write it in the form of sine wave, right? So we will prefer to write this equation as y equals to minus sine wave. Amplitude is 4, so let me write 4, right? Sine k. To find the value of k, let's look into the period. So k equals to 2 pi by the time period, and in our case time period is 8 pi. So k will be 2 pi by 8 pi, which is 1 over 4. So we'll write 1 over 4 as the k value here, right? And since we inverted, there is no phase shift for us. Otherwise, we will have to incorporate phase shift. Plus the axis, which is at 2, plus 2. So that is how our sine function is. So the sine function is horizontally stretched by a factor of 4, and that is why instead of 2 pi, the time period is 8 pi, right? Vertically, it is stretched by a factor of 4, and therefore we have an amplitude of 4. Axis is 2. It has been translated 2 units up because of this. Do you see that? Our equation represents the data, and that is how we can write it and represent the data incomplete, right? So I hope you understand and appreciate that from maximum and minimum x values we get the period. From maximum and minimum y values we get amplitude and axis. Before writing the equation, it is better to have a look at the function itself. How does it behave? So that we can work out the phase shift. Since it is a sine wave which is reflected on the x-axis, we started with minus and completed the equation. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.